So here we are. So the big question this morning is, are you ready? Well, my middle name is ready. Welcome to Oakland Park, the Urban Farming Institute, right here in the city of Oakland Park. It's Saturday morning, 10 o'clock. It must be the talk at 10. You know, it's really an amazing sort of thing that has been taking place here in the garden and with what we're doing in hydroponics. It's just so rewarding. You know, not only do we have our CSA program, which is winding up today, participants, subscribers will be picking up their last share today, but we've sent, gee whiz, just so much material over to Kids in Distress, and we've sent product out to Mount Zion. We've worked with Commissioner Vice Mayor Jane Bolin and a program over at Mount Zion as well. It's just been a really, really productive sort of thing, and we're going to try to keep the hydroponic piece running as long as we possibly can so that we can continue these kind of programs. We've got more kale, lettuce, and so forth going over to Kids in Distress on Monday. So we're happy to support the community in that way, and our hydroponic garden is just very, very productive, but it's very small. And of course, we grow in full sun, and the sun right now is our friend, but it's going to become more and more difficult as we get into the summer. And speaking of summer growing, the growing season is just here in the tropics, for lack of a better term, subtropics. It is almost year-round, and we really want to encourage the idea that as our main principal growing period comes to an end, which is going to be the end of this month, the summer season is going to start up. And if you have any interest whatever in community gardening, then why not take a shot at working with us in our community garden this summer. Registration is through the City of Oakland Park, the Parks and Leisure Services Department. They do a terrific job. All you have to do is just go in, tell them you're here to sign up for the summer program. And if you're a resident, the cost is $25 for the summer and $35 if you're a non-resident, and you can just have a great time growing here. Growing in the summer is more challenging. Has to be. It's simply the way it is. But just think of the crops that you're going to be able to grow. And we have gardeners here that are going to be able to work with you. We have professional growers that work with you, master gardeners. We have just a broad range of people that are available that can help you out in answering questions about what it is that you need to do in order to have a successful summer garden. I have to tell you that this year at the Urban Farming Institute Community Garden here in the city of Oakland Park, this has been by far the best year we have ever had. Not only has this been a great year for production, but it's also been a great year for the CSA, because not only has our garden done very well, but other gardens from our partner farms have done very well also. So we've had a terrifically wonderful season, and we would expect this to continue right on through the summer. So we want to take full advantage. And if you have any questions about that, of course, you can stay up to date on our activities here at the Urban Farming Institute by signing up for our newsletter. And you can do that by going to our web page and the sign up. It's free. It comes out on Friday night. Stacy does a terrific job with that. And we keep you up to date with all the stuff that's going on here at the Institute in the city of Oakland Park. What a tremendous, tremendous situation we have going on here. We really encourage you to participate to the extent that you can, given that the good virus continues. Hopefully, we don't want the virus here. I mean, just think about it. Unfortunately, we have Fort Lauderdale Beach, and people get excited about that, and the virus says, well, I'm going to hang out here for a while. Well, anyway. Okay, so we have some questions. This is the first time we've ever done this. But because Cassie's been doing such a great job, and Jeff has been helping her out here on the Facebook Live thing this morning, we had a little bit of a glitch, but it's still working out really quite well. And we've had phone calls. My gosh, we've had phone calls. We have Jose down in Puerto Rico. If you've never been to Puerto Rico, you need to go there. What a wonderful kind of place that is. And we also, Chris, who lives not too far away from us, having huge problems with aphids. If you hang around here a little bit, you'll hear me talk a lot about aphids. I'm really not excited about aphids. It seems like this is the number one question. People call up and hey, John, I got a problem with aphids. Yeah? So you have a problem with aphids. Look, aphids are just a fact of life, and they're going to be in your garden. Let's be real about that. And what is the best way to manage this pest in your garden? Well, number one, use your eyes. You don't want the insect pressure, those little guys, to really pound on you to the extent that they begin reproducing asexually. I mean, these guys will go from a small population to a huge population very, very quickly. And if you catch them early in the cycle, well, you can knock them off with water. And most of the aphids will come off, and once they're off, they're going to stay off for the most part, and you're going to have a successful crop. We know that some other things that we use here, for example, we'll use neem oil if we have a real heavy infestation. This season we haven't done that at all. We've been able to manage with simply water. And when you're cropping your product, whatever that product is, you want to be sure to hydrocool the product. That means plunge the product into ice water. So you want that water to be as cold as you can possibly get it. Ice is a good thing to use in a case like that. And if you have aphids on your product, the aphids are just simply going to fall off. And you're going to have a really, really good product that's going to stay nice and firm and fresh when you take it inside and put it into the refrigerator. So just think about this. If you're using neem oil, which we try not to do, but it's organic and it's very safe, it's been in use for thousands of years, why not just think about that for a minute and scout your garden very carefully, identify for sure that you have an infestation. If you do, then use the minimal amount of pesticide, in this particular case neem oil, that will solve your problem. We recommend that you start with high pressure water. It's simple. If you've subscribed to our newsletter, you've already seen how we did that. John Carter did a demonstration of that. It worked out really, really very well. So just think about that as it relates to aphids. All right, so here we go. Spider mites. Now, this is from Eric in Palm Beach. Thank you, Eric, for the phone call. This is an amazing sort of problem that you're going to have from time to time. Now, it happens that Eric has these on tomatoes. You sort of wonder about that. If you're growing tomatoes this time of year, that plant is going to be stressed. And plants that are under a great deal of stress are not going to be able to repel insect pressure as well as a plant that is very, very healthy. We've had a situation in the Pompano farm some years ago where we had spider mites. We had so many spider mites that I just, in the eggplant, it was a beautiful eggplant crop, but the spider mites were just all over the place, and I could not control the spider mites without using a conventional pesticide, and I just wasn't going to do that. So we stopped growing eggplant. And that's just the way it was. We're not going to grow eggplant in that particular farm. We had the same problem, and you can see that. In fact, if you take one of our more advanced classes, we'll show you how to identify early spider mites, especially in eggplant. It shows up. You can't see the spider mite, but it shows up, and the leaf will react to the attack. And we'll show you how to identify that. But I'll tell you, spider mites are very, very difficult to get rid of. Again, it's neem oil as a miticide. We find that maybe works. We've not had real good success with it. There is a product called Nukem that you can get on the internet, and you might want to, or a hydroponic store. You may want to try that and see if you have success in that regard. But many times it's a good idea just not to grow the crop if you're going to attract that kind of pest. Just wait. Grow it at a time when that pest is not going to be too active. So let's see. Here we go. Ladybugs in the garden. This is a question from Charlie. Charlie, thank you very much for the question. Yes, ladybugs are wonderful sort of things. You want to be able to identify them, though, as a beneficial insect. You know, ladybugs start in the garden. If you have a breeding population, and we do here, they'll start and they won't look at all like a ladybug. It'll look like some sort of strange alien creature, and you'll say, oh my, let's quick get this out of the garden. But really, it's a ladybug. And some people call in and they'll say, you know, I want to get ladybugs, but I'm going to bring them in. Bring them in and release them into my garden. Well, you can do that, of course. That's perfectly okay if that's what you want to do. Our recommendation is don't do that. Ladybugs are native. Well, I can't say they're native from here, but we do have native populations here. We have a very successful population of ladybugs in our garden because we don't spray any negative pesticides. We try to keep them all natural, all positive, all moving along as best we possibly can. If you're going to order in ladybugs, just know that they came from, more than likely, a very cool environment, maybe the Pacific Northwest, Michigan, who knows, and they're captured at night, and then they're put on an airplane and they're shipped down here to sunny South Florida, and well, then they're released, and they get so excited. These ladybugs get so excited about being here in South Florida and being able to take part in the outstanding exercise and social interactions that occur here. It's amazing. You will find them possibly even on Fort Lauderdale Beach. Now, if you believe that story, I have some land I'd like to sell to you. It's waterfront. It's just a little bit west of us here. Here's the story. You want to be very, very careful of ladybugs. Rely on the population that is already here. Know your bugs, and in one of our advanced classes we'll talk about that and how to identify that. In fact, when we get past this corona experience here, we'll start those scouting missions again, and we'll go out into the garden and you'll see all of these all these kind of bugs. They're beneficial insects. You want to really promote beneficial insects, and you do that by not spraying nasty, heavy pesticides. You just want to be very, very careful with that. So I want to be able to say that this season has been terrific. We think it's going to continue as we move into the summer. We know that gardening is work. A lot of people start gardens and the gardens fail because, well, people discover that gardening is work. It's just that simple. But if you stay with it, if you make a commitment to feed your family, if you make a commitment to stay out of the grocery store as much as you possibly can by growing product at home, you're doing a very, very, very good thing. So I want to tell you today, in saying goodbye to you here at the Urban Farming Institute in Oakland Park, that remember that the very best day to plant a seed is today.